Hello, mate of Papa. Today I'm going to share with you how I made this finger licking fried rice, tiger prawn and egg fried rice. It was so delicious. I'm going to share some tips to get it right and to get it just like the Chinese style. So pull up a chair, sit tight and take notes. Let's start with the rice. To cook the rice, I use some ghee, which is clarified butter. I love the flavor it gives to this kind of rice for fried rice or for oil rice. And then I also added in some Aftrad Village Kitchen's 10 spice blend. This is in replacement of stock. So if you've got stock, you can use stock instead. And then I added my washed rice. To this, I added in some salt to taste. And then I stirred really well to make sure everything was well combined. Then I covered it, allowed it to cook for about a minute on medium heat, just for the flavors to coat the rice and to infuse the rice really well. After a minute, I stirred it because sometimes it catches at the bottom, and I added in ready boiled water. You want boiled water at this stage to help it cook quicker. Adding cold water will slow the cooking process. So because we're going for fried rice, it was just enough water just to cover the top of the rice and to cook it, because we are looking for quite maybe parboiled rice. I would say quite hard. If you're a fluffy kind of person, fluffy rice kind of person, you need to reduce the amount of water. You want it a bit hard because it's going in the fried rice and it's going to be worked out a bit. You don't want it to be mushy in the fried rice. So at this point, it was not cooked, but it was halfway. So I stirred it well. There was a bit of steam in it, but I also wanted to generate a bit more steam and to use that steam to soften the rice. So I covered it with parchment paper, and then I added just a tiny bit of water on the top of the parchment paper to help generate the steam, enough steam that I need. And then also I transferred it to my smallest burner on the lowest heat. You want this to happen so that the bottom does not burn and it takes the time to cook. So here we are. I was checking it. I carefully took the parchment paper off because I didn't want the water to go in, just in case the rice was soft enough. I didn't want that extra water, so you need to be really careful. If you need that extra water, you can add it back in. At this point, the softness was okay. It was just at the point where it was cooked, nice and firm. Maybe possibly what they would say al dente for pasta, and it was just right. So as you can see, it is perfectly cooked. And to stop it from cooking further, I have switched off the fire, have covered it and allowed it to cool down. So here our rice was ready. With the rice now sorted, let's go through the rest of the ingredients for the fried rice. So I used some peas and sweet corn, which I steamed, and I diced up some carrots, some onions, some ginger and garlic grated, some Chinese 5-spice blend, Aftrad Village Kitchen's 10-spice blend, some eggs, and of course our tiger prawns, and some sesame oil, some oyster sauce, and soy sauce. So let's get on with seasoning the tiger prawns. So I used Aftrad Village Kitchen 7-spice blend and the Chinese 5-spice blend. I also added in a bit of the garlic and ginger mince, or you can mince it or grate it, either is fine. And then I added in some oyster sauce, just about a tablespoon. I also added in some soy sauce, just about a tablespoon as well. Equal amounts of the soy sauce and the oyster sauce is good. And then I mixed everything together and allowed it to sit for about 3 to 5 minutes. It doesn't take long for it to take on the flavors, so it was ready to use as soon as I had flavored it. So it was time to get on with the fried rice. So I got my wok heated, and here I was using sesame oil. If you haven't got access to sesame oil, you can use palm kernel oil. I use it in replacement, and it is such a good replacement for sesame oil. So if you haven't got sesame oil, do not fret. If you've got access to palm kernel oil, that's a good choice. So I added in the tiger prawns, spreading it out to make sure every one of the tiger prawns is hit by the heat. Once the tiger prawns were in, I allowed it to cook on one side for some couple of minutes before turning it over, and then I stirred it to allow it to evenly cook. You don't want to overcook it. As soon as it turns pink, it is done. Overcooking makes it too rubbery and too chewy. It is not nice. So it takes about 3 minutes, and it was done. And I cleared my pan. The next thing was to cook the eggs. And to cook the eggs, again, I use sesame oil to fry the eggs. You want enough oil in there. And I added in a splash of water. This is another tip. Together, this is how the Chinese people do it, okay? So yes, a splash of water is all that you need. No salt, no seasoning, nothing. Splash of water, add it in, swirl it around. Here I was looking for some big chunks of, scrambled eggs. It depends on how you want it. You could fry it like an omelette and then cut it up, or have it into tiny pieces, especially if you've got fussy eaters and they don't want to see the eggs. But I was going for some big chunks. And here I was trying to be a bit moderate with the sesame oil. So it was catching at the bottom, so I added in a little bit more oil. But if you add enough oil to the pan, your eggs will not catch at the bottom. So it was done, and it was ready to move on to the next stage, which is sauteing the vegetables, the last stage of getting the fried rice all together. So of course I had to clean the wok a bit because that will burn. So, and at this stage it was not fully burnt, so it was good to put it back in with the rest of the eggs. And again, heated the wok, added in some sesame oil. The onions went in, and also the minced garlic and ginger. I sauteed this until it started softening. The aroma of this was so good. The sesame oil combined with the onions, ginger and garlic is just The whole house was smelling good. So the next thing was to add in my carrots, because that's also a hard veg that can withstand a bit of heat without becoming mushy. And I added in some oyster sauce for flavor, to flavor the veggies in there. And then I also added in my steamed sweet corn and peas. So the sweet corn and peas were steamed from frozen. You could actually cook it in here, but I do find that sometimes it releases quite a bit of water into the sauce, and you don't really want too much water. So I added in a bit of soy sauce, going a bit moderate on the soy sauce, just enough to flavor the whole fried rice. This is the beauty of cooking at home. You can reduce the amount of salt, the amount of the soy sauce, and make it still flavorful and to your taste. So after mixing the rice in, I also added in the prawns and the eggs, because at this point we were almost done. The whole thing left here was to marry everything together, add in the spring onions, which was more for garnishing than for cooking. You could use it to cook. Sorry, I didn't show the step, but yes, you could add a bit of your spring onions in and cook it with the vegetables, and also add a bit in for garnishing. But I didn't have enough spring onions, so I just use it for garnishing. And when it is fresh, it really gives your fried rice a really lovely taste. So Mejofapa, thank you. You've been watching this. I hope you have picked up quite a bit of tips, of taking some notes, and you are really enjoying this. But continue to sit tight because we are not done yet. So whilst you are still watching and salivating, don't forget to click on that subscription button and notification button if you haven't done so yet. So to serve this fried rice, I made some simple salad. This is one of my favorite simple salads. Just lettuce, carrots, and red onions. And then I add a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lime or lemon juice. It is wonderful. You need to try it. So I served my fried rice with, of course, Aftrad Village Kitchen's shito papibi. Yes, you need to try it if you haven't tried it. It makes it really delicious. And this lovely chicken, crispy, chicken. That chicken is coming your way soon. How I cooked it is coming your way soon. It's in the next video. So don't forget to turn on your notification button so that as soon as the video is uploaded, you'll be the first to get it. This whole thing, meal plates, what shall I call it? Fried rice, tiger prawns and egg fried rice came together beautifully. It was delicious. I hope you will try it, and as usual, you come back and testify. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you join me next time.